Salute Figure 4 TVers. Welcome wrestling friends. Hit that like button. We got breaking news today. That Vince McMahon lawsuit, it's not going away. And it just took a major twist on the day that we're all celebrating the Royal Rumble 2025. What's might be the greatest Royal Rumble. If you notice, all of these stories they break when WWE has their biggest shows. Right before WWE have their biggest shows, you'll hear a news story like this break because they know that's when you're going to have the most eyes on the brand, most eyes on the product. So guys, check this intro out, and when we come back, we get straight on into it.
Many of you know, several years ago, the World Wrestling Federation and I came under a vicious attack by the tabloid media, led by one Phil Mushnick of the New York Post. It's been the equivalent, in my view, of journalistic stalking. As we found out, these stalkers apparently are not interested in the truth, as they have been heard to say in the tabloid newsroom, don't let the truth get in the way of a good story.
The lawsuit against Vince McMahon just took a massive turn. New evidence has been added to the case, and it's more disturbing than anyone could have imagined. We're talking about video evidence, text messages, and serious new allegations that could shake the foundation of WWE forever. Let's dive into the details. All right, if you haven't been following this case, here's the quick rundown. Former WWE employee Janel Grant has filed a massive lawsuit against Vince McMahon, John Laurinaitis, and WWE. She's accusing them of sexual assault, trafficking, and emotional abuse. The WWE itself is being accused of negligence for letting it happen. And now, in an updated filing, the lawsuit has exploded from 67 pages to 101 pages, including shocking new evidence.
The one thing you have, as far as I'm concerned, the most valuable thing a person owns, the most valuable thing a man can own in your life is your name.
Yeah.
Period. It's your name. And now his great-grandfather, his grandfather, his father, that name is done and dusted. I mean, it's ruined.
Anytime that you're at that level and that you have that much power, I think you're going to see things like that happen, and people take advantage of their power.
Someone that must have like such a hunger for power that they need to control someone, and that's about Vince. I can't say everyone else that was mentioned would surprise me quite as much.
Grant's attorney, Ann Callis, says the new details pull back the curtain on the dangerous workplace culture McMahon created at WWE, and the details are horrific. The lawsuit now claims that McMahon forced Grant to create explicit content for longtime WWE creative executive Michael P.S. Hayes. See, so now they're dropping names, guys. Now it's not so-and-so 1, so-and-so 2. Now they're dropping names. And this is probably why Michael P.S. Hayes stepped down, Bruce Pritchard stepped down, Kevin Dunn stepped away. It's getting nasty. So let that sink in. This is now going beyond just McMahon and Laurinaitis. On top of that, Grant alleges that McMahon shared explicit images of her without her consent and even recorded her nude during a video call with Laurinaitis. And it doesn't stop there. She claims that Laurinaitis was also sending explicit videos to McMahon, who then shared them with Grant. Of course, McMahon's legal team is firing back. His attorney, Jessica Rosenberg, is calling this an ongoing smear campaign and claims the new complaint is just a publicity stunt filed with desperate falsehoods. But let's be real, this is not going away anytime soon. So what happens now, this lawsuit is still in the early stages, But with the new evidence added, things are getting way more serious. WWE has been trying to move on from McMahon's era, but this case could bring a lot of heat back to the company. And guys, bigger names is being mentioned in this lawsuit, this new one now, guys. Nick Khan name, Brad Blum, Triple H name has been mentioned. And remember, just because you didn't do it, if you know of it, you just as good as the person that's doing it. And they're saying that Triple H office was wall to wall with Vince's and Laurinaitis' little jump off office. So it's no way Triple H is going to be able to say he didn't know of. HR is informed of every little thing that go on in the company. Stephanie McMahon name is in there as covering it up. We know Linda McMahon name has been in there for covering up. It's not looking good. Now we see why The Rock is there, but The Rock is not creative. Understand, The Rock is not as creative as Triple H. If Triple H go down, the company is going back to 2019. Remember the company in 2019? That's how the company gonna go. Guys, so we're gonna keep a close eye on this. This is getting very interesting right here. Only thing that can save Triple H and a lot of the other players in this is they're going to have to blame it on Vince. They're going to have to say that they stood quiet because their job was absolutely on the line. That's the only way they're going to get away with this. But other than that, they going down too. They going down too. And just 3 weeks ago, everybody thought Vince was going to get away with it. Everybody was doing videos talking about Vince getting away with it, but I told y'all, this ain't over. The sad part is, this just shows you that these type of women, and in these type of situations, we had the Joy Taylor a few weeks ago come out and get exposed. In these situations, these women don't be looking for justice. These women be looking for money, and if Vince wouldn't have stopped paying her, this would have never came to light. So is it about justice or is it about money, guys?
The impression I get from that is that if we, promote you too quickly, it'll make it more obvious what's happening here. It's hard to imagine that Brad Blum and Nick Khan didn't have knowledge that there was some sort of sexual relationship between Vince McMahon and Janel Grant. There's nothing alleged, to be clear, in the complaint that those executives had knowledge of the sexual assaults that may have been happening that are certainly alleged throughout this complaint. But they are alleged to have supported and helped Vince, keep this, what the plaintiffs say is a sex trafficking scheme to keep that going along.
And we've made that clear earlier in the show that we are not saying that any of these people took part in any of the abuse of Janel Grant or what she alleges. They're accused of being part of a cover-up. So Nick Khan also was a part, according to Janel Grant, of fashioning this NDA and this agreement where she would leave the company. She was supposed to be paid $3 million. We know she didn't get all of the money. So what does this mean for Nick Khan? Let's say this turns out to all be true. What does this mean for Nick Khan? For Brad Blum, they're still with the company. What does this mean for them in the future of WWE?
I think you're getting into territory where a lot of the complaint is communication that was relayed from Vince McMahon to Janel Grant. A number of instances that infer his conversations with Nick Khan and Brad Blum. So I think that you would need to substantiate that this was Vince McMahon being truthful in these conversations and what he told Janel Grant and how involved Nick Khan and Brad Blum were privy to some of the facts and what was going on and orchestrating this. And then, kind of the confidence that these are two individuals that are still in very high, prominent leadership positions. And are they prepared that they can handle situations such as this if they were to arise? We don't have a Vince McMahon figure anymore in the company, but this is still something that you are fostering a corporate culture that there needs to be checks and balances. And if there is some kind of grand grievance to this there has to be people that can step in and stop this from happening. I think at the core of this complaint from Janel Grant is her stating that if those structures were in place, I would have had some protections. I had none. I had no one to go to. And did this go so unchecked, this power that Vince McMahon had, that even these executives that had high-ranking positions, did they feel that they could do anything without threatening their own job title?
Mm-hmm. And if I could add to that.
Oh, sure.
If I could add to that. There's one scene depicted in the complaint where Janel Grant is describing a conversation that she had with Vince, where Vince is telling her a story about a conversation that Vince had with Nick Khan and Brad Blum, where Blum and Khan, according to Vince, expressed concern about the relationship with Janel and Vince. And they express concern, but Vince reassures them that she can be trusted, and they were eventually supportive of Vince's relationship with Janel Grant. Now, WWE has commented with some of its first comments on this story that we've had yet, and they have denied that that conversation involving Nick and Blum and Vince took place. Obviously, there's only 3 people who really know whether or not that conversation took place.
Y'all let me know. Put it in the chat. Yeah, in this situation, do you think this is about justice, or do you think this is about money? And guys, do you think Triple H and the WWE Empire as we know it gonna go down? Let me know. I want to hear from you guys. Put it in the chat. Don't forget to hit the like button, guys, and share the video if you can. We need to get in the algorithm over here, guys. All right, y'all. Thank you.
What do you think overall about Vince McMahon?
Plain and simple, he's a piece of shit.
This is the company that he created, that he founded, and he wanted to make sure in his retirement that he...
This is a wreck. He's moving like an uncaged animal.
No lie, he's wild in there.